Welcome back to Morning Barbados. It's back to school, we've been saying already today, and there's technology taking its toll on the classroom. I can think of only yesterday when I wanted to do a little reading with my son. He said, "No, Daddy, I need to do a Star Wars program on the computer."
You
Gabriel,
just old school, man. You just old school.
I didn't even know you could do. I didn't know you could do that. Let's say hello and good morning to Gabriel Abed.
Good morning.
Time to talk technology.
Let's jump right in.
Yeah, well, why? I forget it. Forget it. I'm just thinking about my son. I'm trying to ask him why. What's the attraction though to computers for little children?
For little children?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for once, it's a device that has unlimited amounts of fun to come with it. It's a device that provides gaming applications, it provides knowledge, it provides connectivity to your friends and family. So I think kids growing up in an environment where they got to play with such a device have grown an attachment to it because it's something that's become part of our day-to-day lives. And I think kids are noticing this, well, obviously, more and more every single day. Using these applications or these tools or these devices to play their games, talk to their friends around the world or even outside of the classroom. It's just become such a, I would say, crucial part of their growing up.
But how do you balance the educational component with the entertainment aspect of technology?
Well, that really just boils down to A, discipline, and B, parenting. I mean, you can get a device and spend all day, every day just playing games on it. Any device, any electronic device in this modern era that's produced should provide some sort of entertainment with regards to gaming. So you can find a lot of kids doing that. I mean, when I was in university up in Canada, we were one of the first batches of techie students to be using a full suite of IT products in our classroom. Every single student had to have a laptop that was school provided with school software, and I would usually sit in the back of the classroom and I could see everyone's laptops in front of me, and it was Facebook, games, Facebook, more games. You very rarely see a student taking notes or paying attention to the professor.
Let me ask you this, how does that then impact on their attention span? Because a lot of employers complain that persons coming out of university and of the newer generation, their attention span is all about zero. I mean, because you find that these things aren't guaranteed, aren't geared to keeping you for long periods of time in it, as you would with a book, for example, where you got to read the whole thing to the end.
Well, a book was sequential, whereas the computer is search-based, so you can just jump to wherever you want to go. I wouldn't say the lack of attention correlates to technology. I would say it's just a situation where students have become so reliable on a computer device that they are able to get information when they need it now, and time, you know, their span of attention is significantly reduced when you look in the past and you see that people weren't really, how do I phrase it?
Diplomatically.
Diplomatically. Technology's changed dramatically the lives of the students. We now have a world where everything's at our fingertips. So when you go from being in an environment where you're able to do what you want to do, which is a normal classroom environment right now. I don't know about secondary schools because I know there's no technology devices allowed, but when you're looking at BCC and UE and those students are allowed to use computers, they're locked onto that. And once they get into the working world where they're set with a task, it's very hard to stay stable on that task. I've seen that in my own workplace where a person working in the office can find themselves moving off of what they're meant to do to go visit other things.
I'm playing free cell.
Yes, it happens. It happens. I noticed this morning you mentioned that uniforms, repurchasing of uniforms is quite costly. You can look at that as well with technology now coming out. I was asked a question, what do I need to buy for the upcoming school year in terms of technology for my child? The answer, to be honest, is you don't really have to buy anything because most schools in Barbados, if not all, provide all the
loan scheme is still in place.
I'm not 100% sure about that one.
I think it is. We're not at a place where all our books are online or on computers, so I think that those kind of things are still in place. Okay, are there apps out there that parents can allow students to download that are going to assist them in learning in some way?
Yes, there are several apps. I mean, we can talk about one like Evernote. Evernote, Evernote.
And I'm going to ask my producer to pull that up. Yeah.
Evernote allows you to take notes, tag the notes based on the location, and organize them across multiple devices. So you can be on your iPad in the classroom, taking notes on a device. Once it's on your Evernote system, it syncs it with your other Evernote installations. So you can go back to your PC at home, or it could be a shared PC at the school environment, maybe one in the classroom, and you can use it to take all your notes and tag it and share it with your friends, which increases collaboration, which is always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Maybe you miss class, someone can share the notes with you. So Evernote's just one of the applications. Other applications you can use are, if you get files within the classroom environment, you can use Dropbox, which we talked about a couple of weeks back, to allow you to share files, large numbers of files, and also sync them with many devices. There's another really cool one that's only Apple right now, unfortunately, but it would work really nicely on the iPad. It's $1.99 US. It's called Pen and Pencil, I believe. And it allows you to take notes like you were actually writing notes on a notepad. You can start typing, and when you have to draw elements like, say, a finger, it allows you to draw in fine detail using a stylus.
So there it is. So we have it on screen.
Yes, that right there is the application.
Okay, cool.
I believe it's Pen and Pencil.
Pen and Pencil?
Yes, and it's actually extremely detailed. I tested it out, and it's actually very nice.
Pen and paper.
Pen and paper.
Pen and paper. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
That's neat. That's neat. That technology just drives
It is just so
me
cool.
crazy.
No,
and that right there changes the way that the past generations of schooling, because now that I'm able to, for example, look at the anatomy of that eye, how detailed that is, and that's all done on an electronic device. So while the professor is giving notes in class, a student could be taking these notes, drawing out their own diagrams, making them as accurate or as less accurate as you want them to be, and sharing them or collaborating with other friends in the classroom. And that right there is, I would say, much better or more feasible than pen and paper, because I can take this, import it to my computer environment, and refer to it during my study exams, link it to other notes. I mean, there's a field of things you can do with that kind of application.
There are several persons online, especially on YouTube, who do kind of like classes in maths and English and different things. How can parents tap into that then for a child who maybe, you know, struggling a little bit in a particular subject?
Well, you know, that was one of the big things I wanted to talk about this morning. A lot of people don't realize that learning is changing every single day. And I've preached about this before. With the upcoming and uprising of the internet comes a whole new dynamic to learning. When I was, once again, referring to my university education, we had a particular advanced calculus class, and it was learning about the Fourier function, which is not fun for anyone who doesn't like playing with calculus. Long story short, we got some short notes from the professor, but he didn't want to spoon feed us. He said, go off and learn on your own, you'll be tested on this. YouTube was one of my greatest resources. I was able to watch videos from Stanford, Harvard, just independent teachers. You just go on YouTube, you type in a tutorial on something you're looking for, even if it's just a keyword, and 9 out of 10 times you're going to hit the nail on the head with someone teaching you how to do that or how to learn it. Just last week I wanted to learn about aquaponics, which is a type of agricultural system for growing fresh foods, and I was able to learn the entire process from start to finish. I was able to learn about installing solar cells on my roof and the full process with running leads back to battery packs. You have podcasts as well. Podcasts are not as effective as videos because they're more voice-oriented. It's like listening to your professor, whereas the YouTube videos offered are illustrative.
And these are free. They're just there.
They're free. They're free. So you can never replace a true classroom environment. You can never replace the student-teacher interaction, because that professor's there as a guide for you.
I read somewhere that in Jamaica quite recently there is a teacher doing an online lesson program for those, because where she lives, it's a relatively rural area, and so all the kids get online on Saturday morning at
kind of like
10 o'clock.
Learning.
Yeah, it's almost like distance learning.
Oh,
but it's become more prevalent in recent times in these kind of teaching applications.
I read an article a couple of months back, or that we were all raised in, is obsolete, where it's going to go from a point where a student wakes up in the morning, and in his own bed, he's able to become part of the classroom environment.
But let me ask you this, that classroom environment engenders so many other attributes in you other than education. I mean, it's an education but of a social nature. So it teaches you how to play well with others, how to share, conflict resolution, that
You're
kind of
talking
thing.
about the physical classroom
The physical
environment?
classroom environment. When you have this kind of diverse this online classroom where there are 40 of us in a class but we're all at 40 different locations, how do you then
create social interaction
and learn those skills, because they are important in the workplace? I don't think we're ever going to see a world where everybody's working from home.
I don't think you'll ever see a world where everyone's working from home and learning from home, but it's not far off to say that the likelihood of it happening is increasing significantly as time goes on. You have open source platforms and learning platforms dedicated to e-learning, changing the way that e-learning works. You have Topics, which is TOPYX. You have Moodle, which is an open source learning platform. I believe UE uses a form of Moodle.
Yeah.
There's also paid ones that I believe also UE uses. It's virtual chalkboard. It's called WebCT.
Okay.
WebCT, and that's what they use right now for online learning and collaboration. With those tools becoming more powerful and more interactive, as time goes on, it could very well force students towards that direction, because now you can have people like yourself who are trying to pursue a career, but at the same time don't have time to jump out and go learn. So you can be you can leave your job site right now and go into the next room and take part in the classroom. So it may be more for older generations, or maybe those that want to pick up extra courses on the side.
Okay.
Is there a chance, though, or danger that because of the rapid speed of technological advancement, that younger people gear into this technology much faster than the teachers?
That is happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something that we're going to see. It's something we're seeing right now. Teachers, they're unfortunately much older, and the students are younger. And with technology, I don't want to say this, but it's the truth. Technology has been for the young, the youth.
Yes.
It has been. It's been proven time and time again. So you have been seeing an environment where a teacher is less educated in the technology realm. So a student comes in and they can very well be informing the professor on what steps they can take to make their classroom more collaborative or informative with uses of technology.
Isn't it, well, Doug, isn't it incumbent then that we have more programs to teach the teachers? Because then if
Workshops
these
per
kids,
se?
because these kids, I'm telling you, my nieces and nephews, they're smarter on the computer than I am. They can tell you anything, as you don't know anything different.
My 9-year-old is smarter than I am.
You don't know anything different.
My argument for that is no workshops. No, because those workshops are going to be structured. They're going to have to go through a bunch of hierarchies to get to the right point to where they're perfect for that scalable workshop. I would say the teachers should themselves become students and spend a little bit of time every single week seeing what else is new out there, doing some research on collaborative learning, see what new technology releases have come out that will help their environment, and maybe play around a little bit, bring it into the classroom environment, introduce it to the students and test it out.
I understand, Doug, that we have a demonstration of Evernote that we are going to show up. Oh, this looks so cool. I was watching something at the weekend and every other ad was of a tablet of some sort. If it was an Apple, it was Samsung Galaxy. So that really is the way to go. So are we going to see a time when the old-fashioned, let me lug every single book I own in my backpack back to school on my first day because I never know what my timetable is going to be?
Obsolete.
It's going to be obsolete, and I'm just taking my tablet to school?
Yeah, that's been replaced by a mobile device, either a laptop, tablet, or smartphone. It could very well be a smartphone. You know, we may be laughing at the tablet down the road, but for right now, we can see students heading in the direction where 46% of students prefer to study from a digital media. A lot of people in my generation, a lot of the guys and girls in my generation like their textbooks, but when I look 4 or 5 years below me, those are the guys that like their iPads, and they like to study from that. I like a physical document in front of me.
Yeah, so do I. Especially
like
long documents. I mean, there's 3 and 4 pages. I need to have it in my hand.
Although I've read a book off a Kindle, and it's very...
It's so cool, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm in love. I got a Kindle for my birthday. I'm in love.
She had it here last